who has not been guilty of raising their voice because we don't know what else to do? We want to get our point across, so we think, I don't know what to do. Let's just raise my voice.
We're not often creating more connection when we're raising our voices, but we're trying something because we're so longing to be heard or understood or feel safe.
Jenna Card is a certified nonviolent communication trainer with a passion for helping people cultivate thriving relationships rooted in compassion and authenticity.
It's our birthright to have healthy, loving relationships. I don't think we're meant to be in suffering. We're meant to be in love. There's some core principles of nonviolent communication or compassionate communication, and one of them is that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pause to Elevate with Dr. Qasim Al-Mashat. I'm really excited to share today's conversation with someone who's passionate about helping people build authentic, compassionate relationships. My guest is Jenna Card. She's a certified nonviolent communication trainer, and through her coaching and facilitation, she supports individuals and communities navigating conflict, deepening connection, and embracing self compassion and radical honesty. So, friends, join us today if you'd like to build more authentic, compassionate relationships. But first, Jenna, a warm welcome to you to the Pause to Elevate podcast.
Thank you so much. It's such a joy and an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you so much for joining us. And you have such a beautiful journey that has really transformed to serving others. And I'm wondering, where did this all begin? This heartspring coaching that you have, it seems very personal in your
Yeah.
journey. So, how did it begin and what did it lead
Mhm.
up to?
Yeah, it's been definitely a personal journey for sure. I first started exploring nonviolent communication like 2007, 2008. And I
Mm,
tell the story in my fundamentals class about how I ended up searching out and finding nonviolent communication. And it's almost an embarrassing story to tell now. It's sort of like, oh gosh, I've had those stories too. Of standing in the kitchen with my partner at the time, voices raised, arguing,
mm,
saying things that both of us regretted later. And I had this moment of like literally a voice on my shoulder said, "This isn't who you are.
mm,
And there's another way to do this." The voice also said,
mm.
"This was fine when you were 19, but you're no longer 19. You're
Right.
like 37. You should know better." I'm like, why don't I know better? And so I did
Mm,
what many people do. I Googled and I ended up taking Compassionate Communication 101 with Raj Gill at Langara College in Vancouver and embarking on this journey that I had no idea would transform my whole life and all of the relationships in it.
mm.
Mhm.
So, from a place of
Yeah.
deep frustration, right?
Yeah, pain and confusion, like, what? I don't understand. I grew up in a family system that didn't
Mm,
know how to express our feelings and didn't know
mm.
empathy. I remember the moment I actually felt held with empathy for the first time. I was 38. It was like the year later, and I was at a
Ah,
nonviolent communication retreat, and I'm telling my story to someone, and they're just like deeply present with me and like
mm.
mirroring back my feelings and helping me guess at my needs. And I'm like, what magic is this? I
Wow.
was so amazed. And I fell in love a little bit in that moment, honestly, because I think that kind of presence
Mm,
actually expands love. I mistook that love for
mm.
um,
Right.
because it was new to me. I'd not received that particular quality of presence before. And so
Mm,
I just knew this was something I had to really understand. I really needed to bring this into my life. And it still took me years. Um, I wandered away. That relationship that was that kitchen moment, that relationship
right.
came to a conclusion, and I wandered back into life, dating and doing the things, and then had a very another turbulent relationship that was very fiery, fun and fiery. And I was
Mm.
like, wait a minute, this is that pattern coming back. Hang on a second,
Oh,
I'm the
there's a
common
common
denominator.
denominator. Like, yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Wait a minute, that's me having this experience again. So then I committed myself to understanding this much more deeply and started
Mm,
studying and practicing and building community. And yeah, yeah.
mm. As you're sharing your story, it just makes me think how there's a lot of things we need to upgrade that we weren't taught in life, right? Like communication, compassion, kindness. Like there's a lot of things we do it because that's how we learned it.
Hmm.
Some of it is helpful, but some patterns of communication aren't. Like you're saying,
Hmm.
who has not been guilty of raising their voice because they don't know what else to do? I mean,
Yeah.
like we want to, get our point across, so
Hmm.
we think, well, I guess I don't know what to do. I just raise my voice to get my
Just gonna
point
be
across.
louder.
I think that's what people fall into. I think we all have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's some
yeah.
core principles of nonviolent communication or compassionate communication, and one of them that is that everything that we do is an attempt to meet a need. So everything
Mm,
we do is trying to meet a need. So raising our voice in a conversation, we're trying to meet a need to be heard, and that's an ineffective strategy in that moment. We're not often creating more connection when we're raising our voices, but we're trying something because we're
right.
so longing to be heard or understood or feel safe. And yeah.
It's time for a quick little update. A few months ago, 2.5% of you who are watching this content were subscribed to this channel. I'm so grateful to you. You helped us move it to 20%. However, if we do the math, that still leaves us 80% of you have not subscribed. Please help me change that. Go ahead and press that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Let's get back to the content. Hmm.
So
But it's not getting expressed.
no,
Like the need is not getting expressed at
no,
all.
because we're
Yeah.
unaware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's a couple of things as well you shared I'd like to go back to, which is there's something about when you experience being heard.
Hmm.
That's like a moment of like kindness,
Mm,
love. It's kind of touches the heart when we're just received.
absolutely.
And I guess
Yeah.
when you experienced there's some kind of like, oh, whoa,
Yeah, it was an
this is.
epiphany. It was a really pivotal moment. I can picture the moment. The three of
Mm,
us sitting there on the grass. I can't even remember where on Vancouver Island, but the moment itself is like in my mind and it's in my memories. And yeah, it's so impactful to have someone be
mm,
deeply present to you and to what's happening for
mm,
you, and with warmth and with curiosity and with
mm.
compassion, with non-judgment, with acceptance. Yeah, it's a powerful and it's a healing experience.
Yeah,
Hmm.
such an opening. Uh,
Hmm.
Do we need more of this in the world right now, or what?
Yeah, yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Can you share a little bit what is for folks who haven't heard of nonviolent communication? Like, what
Hmm.
actually is that? Like, do you need to be? Someone may say, "Well, I'm not violent,"
I'm not
but
violent.
does right? So, what is nonviolent communication?
Yeah. At times, I've really liked the slightly evocative nature of the name. It's
Mm,
it's it's provoking something to be. I'm not a violent person, but
mhm,
have you ever turned your voice inward toward yourself in a really critical way? Have you
mm,
ever shamed or blamed or doubted or criticized yourself? And so in that's a way of being unkind, not compassionate, and possibly even in the spectrum of violence toward yourself. So words are
mm,
really powerful, and how we use them causes harm or causes healing, causes connection or disconnection. And so
mm,
the movement of nonviolent communication was created by Marshall Rosenberg, um,
mm,
PhD psychology professor in the States.
mm,
And he was born in the 40s and grew up and wondered why people treated each other the way that they do, and
mm,
wondered why, because he experienced all sorts of racial violence in his upbringing where he grew up,
mhm,
and why and what helps people hold each other with compassion. And so he entered his adulthood as a psychologist with holding these questions, and then
mm,
formulated this practice of nonviolent communication. So there
mm,
are close to 800 trainers around the world offering this particular model of how to relate and how to communicate all over the world.
mhm,
So it's
mm.
become a really powerful practice for compassion, relational in between humans, in between people, but also in social change. And people have brought it into prisons and
Uh-huh.
government systems, and like it's been brought to so many remarkable places in the world to create real lasting change in how people
Mm.
relate to each other and create more peace.
So it's not just for relationships, it's just
Mhm.
for relating, communicating as a
Yeah,
human to another human.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I really appreciate how you described it, because sometimes, you know, words can be hurtful,
Mhm.
even if they're
Mhm.
not abusive words, but
Yeah.
sometimes they're jabby, or like
Yes.
there's a lot of things we say we may not be aware that actually hurt,
Mhm. Yeah, we can use
right?
humor in a way that
Yeah.
causes pain and conflict and misunderstandings. Sarcasm can be funny and it
Mm.
can be hurtful.
You're right.
And so what's our consciousness behind the words we're using? What's the sense of connection with the person we're speaking to? How are they
Mm.
feeling? How are they receiving this? Yeah,
Mm.
it's a dynamic relational experience. Yeah.
Yes. So for you, I'm just trying to envision it. Here you are, like a moment of realizing you need to do something different,
Yes.
and then you took action, which
Yeah.
sometimes people don't. You said, "I'm done with this way. I need to upgrade."
Yeah.
And then not only you upgrade and go through your own journey, but you end up helping others go through the journey, which is actually the best way of doing it. Is you've been through it, right? You actually did the work,
Through
you
lived
experienced it.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it like? I guess before you became certified, because you have to do a whole process to
Yeah.
become nonviolent communication like certified. Um,
Ironically, I was an
it's-
accountant.
ah,
And then I worked in
yeah.
technology as a business analyst. And then alongside that, I started doing my own journey of nonviolent communication,
Mm,
restructuring my sense of self, changing how I communicated, changing how I relate, really understanding like what's happening inside me. How can I say things in a
mm,
way that is powerful and effective, but still connecting and clear?
mm,
And slowly, 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 I started caring way more about the relationships of the people I was working with, projects I was working on. Then I
mm,
cared about the technology or the businesses I was working for. And so eventually I just bowed out of the corporate world and jumped wholeheartedly and fully into the practice that I have now. Yeah.
mm. What was that like? Like, because that takes
Terrifying.
courage. Yes, like letting go of what you know,
Yeah.
right? Here you are, and like jumping to creating your own. Like, whoa, yeah.
I was not entrepreneurship was a whole other like inner journey of that I just didn't know anything about as I approached becoming a trainer. Um,
Mm,
that was a whole other side. The trainer part of it was, I mean, relatively, I'm going to say easy, but it's not easy. It's about internalizing it. It's about bringing the practices and doing them here
mm,
and doing them here. I had my assessor was Penny Wassman, who lives on Vancouver Island, and we'd get together and she would coach me, like, where are you at in your
mhm,
journey of becoming a certified trainer? And there's these requirements from the Center of Nonviolent
mm.
Communication, and
So this is like a mentor when you say assessor,
yeah,
just for folks. Yes, like a
yeah, a
mentor. Yeah.
mentor. And she's the one that helped me decide that I met the criteria to become a trainer. She
Mm,
did the final assessment of whether I was satisfied the requirements. And we
right,
get
right.
together and on the phone, and we would have conversations about where I was at, how much training I'd done, and how much I'd received, and how much I'd offered, and what were my challenges. And invariably, every time we started talking, we ended up talking about my inner
Mm,
child, because it's about how
mm.
much do we love ourselves, and how much are we
Ah,
soothing and like nourishing the parts of ourselves that need more care and love. And so, ironically, and I learned self compassion. I think that was probably the biggest thing that I had to internalize through the
mm,
course. I'd already been a facilitator to some degree, so teaching was something I'd already done. But being able to regulate my nervous system, hold myself with compassion while I held others with compassion, and stay in a place of curiosity even when things get crunchy or confusing for people, and just
mm.
stay in this place of like wonder instead of contraction. Yeah, that's what I had
Mm.
to learn to become a trainer.
So there's actually a couple of tracks, the track of the business that launched you, like you,
Yes.
the courage to launch
Yes.
from corporate to creating your own business, but also the work that you had to do first of
Mhm.
self-compassion,
Yeah.
of like there's an element you're naming about nonviolent self-communication
Mhm.
that we have to learn,
Mhm.
and with compassion. And what is that? What is this
Mm.
compassion for folks who go, Do I need self
Do I
compassion?
need self-compassion?
Was that like, isn't that sometimes there's misconception compassion means
Mm.
like weakness or something, when I know
Mhm.
it isn't. But just I'm wondering, how do you help people understand what is self compassion?
Yeah. I love that question. When I think about why do we do any of the things that we do? Why do we make the choices? What are our core beliefs in the world that drive our actions and our choices and what we create in
Mm.
our lives? And I didn't necessarily come into adulthood with a really solid sense of self confidence or sense that I mattered,
Mm.
a sense that what I wanted mattered, and not a real well developed sense of self love.
Ah.
And so I made a lot of those early choices out of a need for protection and security and safety. And so I became
Mm.
an accountant, which was fine. I mean, and that's a worthy life path.
Oh
But it,
yes, yeah.
but it wasn't my highest expression of self.
Ah.
It was a safe. It was a perfectly appropriate for where I was at in my 20s. But it's not the highest expression of who I am and what I came to this place to do in the
Mm.
world. And so I needed to get to a place from self doubt to self love so that I could be what it is I believe I was meant to be to come here. That sounds too
Mm.
spiritual. There is places that nonviolent communication, while it's a communication practice, it also crosses over into humanizing. And for me, there's a spiritual side to it. And I think Marshall Rosenberg, the
Yeah.
creator, also had this belief that there's a spiritual side
Mm.
to nonviolent communication. It's about who we are. What is our purpose?
Mm.
What is our drive here? And I took a workshop once and it asked me what my North Star was.
Oh.
Why do I do? What do I point toward when I make any of my choices in life? And I decided mine was to expand love. And so I
Mm.
couldn't not hold myself with love and kindness if my purpose in the life was to create more love in the world. And so I really, really had to learn how to do that for myself. And in when
Mm.
I'm able to do that more for myself, I can make mistakes and not shame myself or criticize
Ah.
myself. So I can be more gentle with myself because I'm human. I still make mistakes. I make mistakes in communication, in relationships, and I know how to repair them now. I have more confidence
Mm.
to know how to repair and create more space for mutual mattering. So that love that I have for myself now pours out toward other people, the people I'm in relationship with, and
Mm.
my clients and the people that I work with, because I've been able to cultivate that internally. So I really believe that that sense of compassion for self creates more space for us to have
Mm.
more authentic self expression. We're not so afraid to be fully who we are because I have that sense of like, no, I actually matter. I'm okay. I'm good. And it's okay that I express myself in the way that is my authentic truth because I'm going to do it in a way that doesn't cause harm because that's part of my core values.
Aha.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, so many things to unpack from what you just shared. So, just starting from the last part about uh, keeping this authentic sharing, but including not harm.
Mhm.
I think that's a really important piece because someone may think, I'm just going to be authentic. I'm going to say whatever's on my mind, whether it hurts someone or doesn't,
Yeah.
and then, but it's almost like a safeguard of being real, but having like almost like an ethical framework, as you're
Mhm.
describing, like,
Mhm.
okay, communicating without harm,
Mhm.
like not saying something, even though it might be, there's a saying, it might be truthful, but not useful. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Or
it doesn't
brutally
mean
honest.
lie, but don't say it right now this way. Like, it may hurt.
Yeah.
So how have you, like, how do you navigate that? This
Mm.
truthful sometimes could be like, you want to be authentic in
Mhm.
relationship, whether it's intimate or at
Yep.
work, and but sometimes you have to not say something. So
Yep. Sometimes I don't say something. I think
Right.
there's a discernment piece. I don't believe I have to say every truth that happens inside me. I don't feel like that's always helpful. Doesn't always create more
Uh-huh.
love. And if there's a place where my withholding actually creates more distance, creates a barrier in connection, then I want to find a
Mm.
way to speak that truth. I mean, and it depends on the nature of the relationship. There are lots of relationships where they're passing by and I'm like, that piece of truth isn't going to serve a greater sense of love with that person I may never see again, or that person that I
Mm.
don't have. But when people are in close to me, when they're in that sort of more intimate space, whether they're my best friends or colleagues I really care about, or landmates, I live in community, landmates I deeply care about, I really want to do my best to be honest. And when I notice there's something that's happened for me, that some truth or some experience that I've had that is creating a barrier to connection, I feel like I have a responsibility to process my own feelings about that and then
Mm.
find a consensual, mutually respectful time to do a repair or to have a clearing or to express my
Ah.
truth, and not to do it in a one way fashion. I express my truth and I very much
Mm.
care how it lands. So I'm going to be in a place that I'm going to feel resourced enough to also hear that that was hard for them, or whatever their truth was, without going to defensiveness or blame or judgment.
Mhm.
So it requires
Mm.
that self connection first. Like, whoa, what happened
Mm.
inside me? What was that like for me? What's the story that I made up about it? And then can I check in with that person and see if it's okay that we talk about whatever this is, so that
Mm.
that barrier to connection gets smoothed out and it doesn't pile up.
Mm. So it's
Mhm.
almost like clearing the closet, but doing it
Yes.
in a non-hurtful way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a bit of asking permission, like it seems like
Definitely.
can I share this? And there has to be
Yeah.
some agreement. But the whole thing I'm getting from you is
Mhm.
it's for the sake of building connection, like
Mhm.
it's expanding love, like you shared,
Yeah.
expanding connection, like not speaking authentic truth it's meant to hurt someone, it's meant
Yeah.
to bridge
Yes.
beings.
It's meant to
Yeah.
serve. I think we see it in social media all the time. People are feeling incredible liberties to share opinions about things
Mm.
that doesn't serve love. It doesn't make change. It doesn't build bridges. And that kind of stuff honestly makes me a bit crazy. And I don't
Mm. Yeah.
participate for the most part in social media dialogue for that reason, because it's
Yeah.
not connecting. It's not often a safe place for people. And our vulnerability is, I think, not served in those places. I don't believe we
Mm.
actually create the kind of healing that our culture and our communities need when we're not in that very relational space of me caring about how my opinion is landing for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Ah, well said. So there's a bit of, like hiding behind something and
Hmm.
throwing comments at people.
Yeah.
That's what happens in often social media. There's sometimes good, like kind words, but there's a
Sure.
lot of unkind things said,
Yeah.
hurtful said, and then just like don't even know who the person is. They're like,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so much. I've done a many a mediation that started out because people texted things and had a misunderstanding, and then ended up in this fracture of relationship because they didn't take the
Mm.
time to actually have a conversation, to
Mm.
actually make space to hear one another, and to like understand what's going underneath whatever those opinions or thoughts or comments are. Yeah.
Ah, so
Hmm.
then you work with a range of folks. So
Hmm.
we're not just talking relationships. So it could be family members, it could be
Hmm.
friends, it could be
We're not just talking
so
romantic relationships.
right.
I define relationship very broadly. Relationship is
Ah,
any two humans in contact with each other. Now we're in some, you and I are in some sort of relationship right now. And
right,
so like
right.
we have romantic relationships and we often, prioritize those, and those are really important. But our
Mm,
familial relationships, our colleague relationships, I've done so many supported conversations with sisters and longtime
mm,
friends and people just really wanting to move through a difficult moment in their connection. Yeah.
mm.
Mhm.
And you do this both in person and online?
Mostly online these days.
Most
I
online.
I
Yeah.
live I live far away from lots of population, and so most of
Yes.
my community is online clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, I
Wow.
love in-person work. It's a whole different thing.
Mm,
There's a field of energy, a field of kinesthetic, somatic, physical space we can be in. When we're
mm.
together, we can be moving in space, which can be really magical. It's a little harder to do on Zoom, but
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But accessible, and actually, it's amazing. The heart can be felt.
Yeah.
I also teach retreats. I teach mindfulness programs, and it surprises me every time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, I can really connect and journey together in community. And something
Definitely.
changes, something softens. Like
Yeah.
there's connection that still can be felt, which is actually surprising.
Yeah. It's really
Yeah.
quite amazing how we can be in the field of energy together, even though we're not in a physical space together. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. One of the things you mentioned is this interpersonal mediation.
Mm-hmm.
So is that different than nonviolent communication, or is it you do a different process there, or
Mm-hmm.
or is that part of it?
Yeah, all the work I do is really has the foundation of nonviolent communication. So understanding
Mm,
needs, using the practices and awarenesses of nonviolent communication, the individual work, the
mm,
couples work, and the mediation work. Um, the mediation work, it depends on what people's goals are. I don't tend to
mm.
do things that have tangible, legal, contractual
Right.
goals. And so mostly it's very relational. So I use the relational practices. Hmm.
Mm. And I guess through all of that, you mentioned radical honesty, and I love that wording. Radical is not just regular honesty.
No.
Forget regular honesty. We're going radical honesty. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? I love that. Can you say about a little bit about that? What is radical honesty?
I think when I can be reveal myself in a
Mm,
way that's vulnerable, um, I think it creates magic. I think vulnerability begets vulnerability, and
mm,
I think it creates a level of connection and reveal the truth of things in it, and it opens things up that are guarded or slightly defended or even just not quite so open. Dialogue and
mm.
expressions doesn't open up. So I think there's something
Ah,
about the deep vulnerability of radical honesty that I don't know, I get really
mm.
excited about. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's honesty, but just letting ourselves be vulnerable, which can be hard for some people. But
Yeah.
there's something that really connects us, and the heart can be felt if we're just guarded,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I guess you guide people through the process of learning what is radical honesty, because someone may have, they think, well, I'm an honest human being, I don't steal, but how do I do a radical honesty in relation?
In
Is
relationship.
there a process you guide them through? Because I'm really fat, like.
well, well, to demonstrate it, I would just use examples from my life. There's a
Yes, please.
vulnerability in sharing really deeply personal stories.
Yes.
Um, I was in a relationship for 7 years that I thought I would be in the
Mm,
rest of my life. And
mm,
I learned something in the last 6 months of our time together that I was like, oh, darn it. I couldn't unlearn this thing about myself, a need I had about how I got to express love that wasn't
mm.
going to work inside this relationship. And so I had a choice. I could suppress that need and not say anything and
Mm.
choose security, safety, the commitment, the predictability, the ongoing nature of the relationship. I could choose to deny that to myself and just kind of forget I
Mm.
ever know that and have some like inner
Ignore
incoherence.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I couldn't. Once I knew this thing, I just knew I couldn't turn away from it. And so I had to be
Mm.
radically honest with this person.
Ah,
And in the end I lost the relationship that I thought I would spend decades in
right.
because I was following an inner truth that I just knew so deeply for myself that I couldn't stay and deny. I had to be
Mm.
honest.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to quickly thank you for stopping by and watching this content. It truly means the world to me that you're interested in creating positive change. I also want to invite you to join our amazing community. I have free events online about mindfulness, mindfulness based stress reduction, laughter, as well as retreats that you can do from the comfort of your own home. And are you ready for this? Self paced program that you can do about mindfulness and stress reduction. So you can join the newsletter below to stay up to date on all these goodies. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and press that button. It really helps me to keep this content going and reach out to more guests. Thank you so much again, and may you continue enjoying watching this episode.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. Like you had to really connect with your own honesty.
Mhm.
Like that takes a lot of courage because it may lead to change, like for a lot of listeners, right? Like, so, ooh,
Yeah.
like if I'm really, 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 like really honest in
I'm
myself,
really, really honest.
and that can be scary. So to courage on your end to go, what is my deepest truth,
Mhm.
and share it,
Mhm.
going through a loss because 7 years and then it's a
Mhm.
loss,
Mhm.
but you're following something that feels there's something bigger that you're wanting to experience, a bigger truth of living.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. It felt, yeah, like radical honesty. And honestly, it felt like radical self love for me.
mm.
Mhm. Mhm. Of
Yeah,
course.
listening to your own heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a glorious, glorious change. While
Mm.
terrifying to say, challenging to move through,
Oh.
the outcome has been remarkable for both of us. And I think
Mm.
we are both in more expansive, loving places than if we had tried to stay together with one of us not, at least one of us, with at least me and possibly also him not
Mm.
feeling our fullest self. Yeah.
Wow, that must be so validating.
Mm,
Like, you first had to hear it in yourself,
yeah.
listen to yourself, and to sit with it, however long you had to sit with it,
Yeah.
right? You had to sit with that truth, and you shared, you're not sure it, and wrestling with it, and then communicating it, and going through the loss of the whole journey, and then realizing, actually, this ended up benefiting both. Like,
Mhm.
wow, that's
Mhm.
validating.
Mhm. And we've done the work over the last 3 years to reform relationship. And now he's like a dear, dear friend, somebody that knows me so
Oh.
deeply. And yeah, I really value his friendship. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
See, you're showing us what's possible here.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, talk about living authentically.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're doing the hard stuff yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I live what I, share with people. It comes from a very authentic place in my life of
Mm,
facing dark night of the soul, of facing
mm,
deep loss and challenge, and it doesn't
mm,
always work out the way I want. And I still lean in because I believe relationships are essential. And I believe
mm,
healthy relationships it's our birthright to have healthy, loving
mm.
relationships. I don't think we're meant to be in suffering. I think we're meant to be in love. So,
So beautiful. You know what I find so remarkable about your story is it could have gone otherwise. Like,
mhm.
you could have just bunkered in,
Mhm.
closed off, build walls,
Yeah.
and not trusting letting anyone into the heart.
No.
But a lot of people live that way,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and
I
it's
live
too
that way.
scary. Yeah. So, what
Mhm.
would you say to someone who says, it's not. I don't know. It's
Mm.
just, I can't
Too
trust people.
much.
It's too risky. I don't want to get hurt. It's much better just having walls and not letting anyone in, because if I don't let anyone in, I go and get hurt.
So safe inside my walled place.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually won't, I have no judgment. If somebody
Mm,
makes the choice that that's their most authentic expression is to be solo or to live a particular kind of way in life that doesn't cause
mm,
others and is in their truth and it looks different than mine, all the power to you.
right.
Like I really come from there isn't one way to do it for sure. Everybody gets
Mm,
to choose their path. And if you have the inkling that that isn't your fullest expression, if you have the inkling that
Mm,
it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't actually feel good, or it doesn't actually feel comfortable, even though it feels safe, then
mm.
there's little ways for us to like move
Ah,
slowly and gently with our nervous systems and with our truth in ways that are yeah, I think we have to move at the speed of trust. So what does it take for us to grow trust, to connect with
mm,
one person, to connect in certain ways? Yeah, I love helping people expand their capacity for trust from wherever they are at,
mm.
just in the simplest ways. Hmm.
Oh, that is so well said. Moving at the speed of trust, like going by inherently what we are, like whatever our limit is, but leaning in a little bit.
Just a little
Is that
bit,
the speed of just a little bit,
just a
like
little
just a
bit.
little bit? Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, there's a sense of willing to explore. Like let's
Mm-hmm.
see. And yes, we can get hurt. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way around it. That is life. We're not taking like reckless risks,
Mm-hmm.
but building connections can be risky. Even
Mm-hmm.
friendships, we can get disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Friendships fade. Is
Yeah. Oh,
But isn't
yeah.
that life? Isn't that the beauty of life?
I don't know. I don't think I would give up all of the different heartaches I've had in my life for all of the amazing loves I've had in my life. I wouldn't trade that. I wouldn't trade that at
Mm.
all.
Which is really what you were sharing about, living your highest potential, right? Living highest potential is risky, but something else opens up.
Yeah.
Or what you said earlier, which I really like, it really landed for me, is like, what is your true north, right? You were saying that. What
Mm-hmm.
is following your true north? And
Yeah.
um, I guess what helped you find your true north? Is there things you did over time that helped you, like questions you ask yourself, or
Mm-hmm.
things that you did that helped you connect with what is your true north?
Yeah. Definitely seeking voices outside myself, counsel
Mm,
outside myself, whether that's like a really amazing therapist. I've done nature based programs that were really meaningful to me. And there were guides on those programs that helped me question things and reflect on things in ways that I would
mm,
have never otherwise. And I think it was really about over time, very slowly learning to trust my inner voice,
mm,
learning to trust that quiet little voice that was always been there, and I just had no sense that I could listen to that at all. Even when I started hearing it, I was like, no, not going to happen. Sorry, not no. And then slowly, because we all come out of our childhood with certain wiring, and we can't override that, and we need to like work
mm.
with that, and so that wiring changes slowly, and so just slowly
Right.
finding that edge of, yeah, what brings me more joy, what
Mm,
feels comfortable or enlivening or nourishing or pleasurable. Our bodies and our systems are quite wired for pleasure, even though we're like,
yeah,
this
yeah.
whole this whole thing, but our systems are quite wired for pleasure.
Yeah.
And so like it's okay to feel the softness of something on your skin, or like the
Mm,
perfect temperature of breeze, or
right.
appreciating beauty, like all of these little things that just bring more richness to life, and just finding those and
Mm.
expanding them gently.
So this awareness, internal and external,
Hmm.
it's one of the things I so love mindfulness that continues supporting me, like building awareness of what's happening internally, my thoughts, my emotions, my sensations, what happening externally,
Yeah.
a sense of just recognizing what's happening. And I can so relate to your story because I actually was in the whole business world myself. I was in corporate. I was doing sales and business accounts, and I used to volunteer on weekends. And it was like something like 1998 or something like that, and 99. And then I realized, whoa, uh, while the money was great, it really was, like, it was much more for, but when what I was making even 5 years into my field. But something in me, like you said, it's like, and it was scary.
Mhm.
It was really scary to switch to
Yeah.
going back to school to study counseling, and
Mhm.
um, it was very scary.
Yeah.
But there's something that just, I'm like, uh it's
That
hard. It's kind of annoying, that voice sometimes.
that awareness when it comes online and you just can't, like, you can't go backwards. You're like,
Yeah,
I can't go back to doing that thing that felt like corporate life, that for me just felt, eventually felt so unsatisfying. The money wasn't enough. Like, it wasn't,
yeah,
you could pay me an amount of money and it's not enough.
yeah.
There's more. And I sort of have this, I always ask my clients, like, what decade are they in? Because I have this like
Mhm.
curiosity about like what happens in our 20s, what happens in our 30s, what happens in our 40s, what happens in our 50s. I
Yeah,
can't ask beyond that because I'm just in that decade. But
yeah,
like what is the arc? And maybe it's like Carl Jungian, the hero's journey, but what's the arc of like what are we questioning at different
yeah.
times in our life? And I think young people, I don't know, I look at them and I'm just in awe. I think they're so far ahead of where I was when I was 20. And I'm like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
amazing. I feel inspired. And, but like, and I often work with people and they're kind of in a similar questioning in similar decades of turning
Mm,
toward like, who am I really? And turning toward like, wait a minute, is this what all my life was supposed to be? Yeah, it's fascinating.
mm.
Mhm.
It's an ongoing journey, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's,
yeah.
this is one of the reasons I named this podcast "Pause to Elevate."
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's all the different points throughout my life, all the different pauses we do to
Mhm.
reflect, to breathe, to step
Mhm.
back, pause, pause, wait a minute, pause,
Yeah.
wait, pause, and it continues to serve me. I'm still doing it now. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but it's hard because life is busy.
Yeah.
We got to pay the bills. We got to do da, 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 next thing, and we're always rushed, 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 rushed. Hurry, 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 hurry.
Mm.
How can we expand to a bigger way of who
Mm.
we are if we're just rushing to the next thing?
Totally. I mean, we
Yeah.
take that concept and bring it back to communication. That is often the ill that my relational
Mm,
clients are dealing with, is too busy to have time for the deeper conversations, for the presence, for actually making space to hear each other. And so
right.
half of my job is just slowing us down, taking a
Mm,
breath and bringing in a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit. What is it in this present moment? What are you feeling right now? And what's the
ah,
truth of this moment? We can talk about all those conflicts and all those things that didn't work and what the struggles have been, and but
right.
what's happening right now?
Right. Kind of immediacy right here.
Yeah, because that's all we have
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our story about the past and our hope for the future, but like right now.
But it's happening in right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you say about that? Because you're naming a thing about like the importance of calming the nervous system
Mm-hmm.
in communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because, often when we ramp up, get upset, blood
Yeah.
pressure changes, heart rate beating, breathing changes.
Yeah.
So
I had
why
the
is that important? This,
Mhm.
nervous system regulation.
Because it's happening in us all the time, and
Yeah.
it's affecting and it's driving our capacity to understand each other. It's driving our capacity to self connect, to choose words, to think different levels of understanding or memory. Like, that's constantly happening in us. And so I was
Mm,
so blessed to study with Sarah Payton, who is a nonviolent communication
mm.
trainer, and wonder. She researches and studies things at a depth I'm just in awe of. And relational neuroscience is one of them, and family constellations is another one. And so her work
Mm,
is remarkable. And I had the incredible blessing to work with her for 2 years. And I
mm.
realized for myself that is one of the things that opened up this door of compassion for myself, because I had such a
Oh,
reactive nervous system. I would bottle, 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 and then blow. And, because that's all I kind of knew was hold it in, and then I can't hold it in. And it comes out in kind of messy ways. And so when I
mm.
started having this, like, oh, no wonder, that kind of compassionate phrase of like, oh, no wonder that was so hard. I had this pattern or this understanding, or I'm wired in this particular way, or this particular kind of response. And when I started having like understanding the nervous system, I was like, oh. Okay. Yeah. That's what's happening. It's not that I'm a bad person or it's not that I'm broken.
Right.
Yeah, I used to think I was broken. It's not that I'm
Oh, what a
broken.
relief.
Yeah. No, it's just this wiring, this way that I was structured coming into adulthood. And we're neuroplastic, thank goodness, because we can change it.
Mm.
And it takes time. It takes lots of empathy and it takes lots of care and good practitioners to work with. And somatic work is amazing. And we can
Mm.
change all that stuff. We can shift
Right.
the way we respond. And maybe that original response is always going to be there, but I hold it differently in myself now. I'm not governed by it in the
Mm.
same way that I used to be. I have a broader window of tolerance for people who are angry, for confusion, for misunderstanding, for my own failings, for other people's failings, for mistakes. Yeah.
This is really important what you're sharing. This realizing we're not broken, right? It's not like there's something broken over here. We learned a certain way of communicating,
Hmm.
and maybe we didn't even learn a helpful way.
Hmm.
And the automatic maybe is I just build, 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 like you said, build, 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 build it. Put up, put up, put up, and communicate with upsetness rather than you're naming manage your nervous system, calm the nervous system, and then communicate. Yeah, and all connect. And you're saying the kind of relational neuroscience and somatic. So for folks who are not familiar, so somatic is getting connected to our senses, like what am I experiencing in the body. Is that how would you describe it? Someone who doesn't know, like, what is a relational neuroscience? That sounds very fancy. And somatic, what is that? But it's actually very practical.
Yeah. I'm hoping you can't hear my dog barking in the background. He'd like me to know something right now.
That's right. That's right. Dogs communicate.
He is communicating that it's walk time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the somatics, that part was also fascinating to me when I was learning the relational neurosciences. Of course, it's happening in our bodies, the whole
Mm,
polyvagal theory and like what's happening in our guts, like the whole like brain and the belly and the gut and like all of the wisdom that's coming from our body. And so that part of it was so fascinating to me to
mm.
start to slow down and to notice sensation. Lots of people don't actually notice sensations in their body.
Right.
And that might be just how they're wired, and that's totally okay. And can we expand that window of awareness to start to
Mm,
notice tension in my chest or tightness in my throat before I blow up? Like, oh, there's all kinds of things. There's cues my body is giving me before I get upset or angry or judgy at someone. And so, can I track those? I'm like, oh, I can track those. Oh, my stomach's tightening. Huh. Okay, what just happened that's stimulating this tension in my body? And can I
mhm.
be aware of it to have choice? Can I have choice about how I'm going to respond instead of not noticing and then just that heat rising and now I'm just going to react? Can I slow down? Can I notice? And that takes
Mm,
practice.
of
That's a whole
course.
other mindfulness practice to be in our soma, to be in our bodies. And for
Mm,
lots of us, being in our bodies hasn't been safe. And so there's
right.
like lots of care. I did somatic experiencing was a therapy I did a decent amount of that got me through a whole bunch of not quite being willing to be fully in my body. And it
Mm,
really helped me land in my body so that it feels better, feels safer for me to be able to track
right.
and notice what's happening, not be scary. Yeah.
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 So if it is scary for someone, healing's possible. Just getting
Mm,
the right support, doing the work. It's possible to feel safe in our own body.
it totally is.
And it's working with the nervous system.
Yeah.
I love your description of we're using it as information. Like
Mhm.
we're using our body
Mhm.
as information. Oh,
Yeah.
my heart is racing. Oh, I'm tightening my jaw. Oh, what? Like it gives us a split second to just slow it down a little bit
Yep.
before we amp it up. And
Yeah.
all we need sometimes is just a split freaking second. You know what I mean? Like, wait,
Wait a
hold
minute.
off.
What's
All
happening?
right. Yeah, yeah. Rather than escalate.
Take a breath. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And when we say that compass, that North Star is like love,
Mm,
expanding love in the world is my personal North Star. and my body is like the compass. It's like, am
Mm.
I pointed in that direction? Am I not pointed in that direction? I'm feeling all this crunchy tension and like, bleh. I think I'm
Yeah.
pointed in some other direction right now. What can I do? What do I need to bring
Mm.
myself back into that center, back to my North Star?
Mm. Well, so clearly you've been living this.
Mm.
Like you've truly been living this. It's really felt even as you speak. This true way of connecting with your North Star, adjusting, which does not mean you're not going to feel burks, right? That means we're going to feel a lot of burks, a lot of places in our life, all of us.
Yeah.
And then using even that as information. Okay, what
Mhm.
happened here? What do I need? What do I
Yeah.
need to say? What do I not to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering, all this just beautiful description you're sharing today. Is that one of the things you share in your program? I know you have an online
Mhm.
program that's self-paced,
Yeah.
the fundamentals of self-compassion. Is that what it's?
Compassionate communication. Yeah.
Compassionate communication.
Self
Can you
compassion's in
speak
there for sure. Yeah.
self-compassion? Yeah, yeah. Fundamentals of compassionate communication. Is that
Hmm. Hmm.
right? Can you say a little bit about this program for folks who
Yeah.
might be curious? How does it work? Is it self-paced? Is it live?
Yeah. I taught it
Yeah.
live many, many times. And so developed this approach to sharing the essential parts of nonviolent communication with people in a way that
Mm,
feels to me really organic, and we kind of like explore it together and like have realizations and then stretch in this direction and then bring this information back to go over here. And so I've taken that same approach and put it into 10 modules, um,
mm,
that people can take in their own time, because it's a lot to reprogram, to like
right.
undo and unpack decades of communications approaches and strategies and to learn something new. And so
Mm,
it's very much um, paced in a way for people to like learn this bit of skill and learn that and then bring them together. And I'm really proud of it. Actually, I just finished it, and I've had a bunch of people go through it with like rave reviews and lots of beautiful feedback that improved it. I did a
mm,
pilot that was like excellent. I love feedback, and so I did some enhancements and improvements. And so it gets people right through from, why would you want to learn nonviolent communication to begin with? Like, what's happening in your
mm,
life? What's your
right.
longing? Because it gives us a benchmark to be like, what do you want to do with this? Why are you
Mm,
approaching this and studying this? And then understanding what are needs from this perspective and what are feelings from this
mhm,
perspective. It's our bodies and our emotion. And then moving towards self-compassion, which is like step
mm,
number one. We take that information and we use it here first, and we develop the
mm,
sense of self-awareness and really, really practical tools. Every one of the modules has homework you can like do and practice. And then
mhm. So
we
practical, not this is not just
very,
theory.
yeah,
Yeah.
very practical. Yeah. My fantasy is that people come out grounded enough in the tools that they can start doing empathy for themselves, and they can start
Oh.
like exploring, like, how do I do this with other people? We get right through the self-compassion, empathy for others, honest expression, that self-expression piece, but from this needs-based consciousness about knowing
Mm,
why this is important to me, and also being grounded enough that I can also hear why it's important to you. So this
ah,
difference that we have, and there's all kinds. I have a partner who helped me
mm.
record a bunch of video, and so we did conversations. So there's live conversations for you to
Oh, very nice.
and we tried them in different, like, it was really fun to do, and I think it's really informative because we did like our habitual responses, which are like not
Mm,
empathy, and then we tried like very classic NVC empathy, which can sound kind of robotic because it's like a model we're learning, and so we
right.
demonstrated that, and then we naturalized it. I just shared it as if we were just in conversation. I was using NVC from my integrated place. So I don't know. I'm really proud of it.
That is so good.
It's
That is so good because basically we get to watch you demonstrate. So it's not just you talking about it, but you're actually demonstrating, and that's I find that so helpful and useful
yeah.
because we get to envision ourselves in it. Like, oh, I do
Mhm.
this. Oh, maybe I'm leaning more to this. Oh, maybe I can do more of that.
Mhm.
So it really makes it very relatable, and we can see ourselves in it.
Yeah.
As you know, so Yeah, that's really creative and helpful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's you get lifetime access to it. So if something doesn't make sense, you go back and watch that again. And if people want to study the course in a cohort, I will run those in the fall because it's relational. Like this is relational
Right.
practice. And so if you want to be in community while you study this work, then we can get together and talk about things and explore things. And I offer coaching and insight and people learn from each other as much as they learn
Oh
from
yeah.
me in classes together. So yeah.
So there's other ways for folks to continue learning. So we
Hmm.
can do the self-paced program
Yeah.
and then continue more with coaching or community
Mhm,
things you're doing.
mhm,
Yeah. And,
mhm.
and, and is it sequential so that how many modules again? Nine?
There's
No.
10, there's 8 core content modules, and they're
10.
very
Yeah.
sequential, like, they build on each other. Yeah,
They build on each other.
yeah.
And it would like, is it like a week, one a week, or however fast you want to
Yeah,
do this?
however fast
Simple.
people wanna take them. The videos, each module is between 30 and 45 minutes of video plus home practices.
Hmm.
So, however fast or slow people wanna take it. I mean, life gets busy. Some people take it and
Right.
get all excited and then drift away and then come back and, you have to do it in your
Right.
own time. Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah.
Mm. And what is the best way for folks to find out about this program? Is it through your
Mhm.
website?
Yeah, it's all on my website. Um,
So yeah. And what is and I can put it into the show notes,
oh,
the
yeah,
website
totally.
or yeah,
It's heartspring.ca, www.heartspring.ca. Yeah.
heartspring.ca.
All of my services are there. If you're curious about working with me, you can book a discovery session and we can have a chat, or you
Mm.
can jump right into the programs.
Oh,
Mhm.
there's an option to do that. That's really good to
Mhm.
know. So someone can go to your website and find out, create, do a like what is it, 15-minute discovery or something?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Yeah, it just
Mhm.
gives a chance to get to see how you can work together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. One of the most
Mm.
exciting things that has happened, and I kind of had a dream it was going to happen, but it didn't. I didn't put any energy to it, and it came to me anyways. I was so thrilled. But an organization, a First Nations community out of Alberta, reached out to me, and I'm actually working with them through the program right now. And
Oh.
so I'm doing coaching calls, and they're doing the self study. And so I would love to bring this to intentional communities and organizations and places where people really care about their connection and maybe are in service to other people and want to deepen their
Mm.
practices. That was really exciting to me.
Oh, that's a beautiful vision.
Hmm.
That's a beautiful vision. Yeah, like also reaching through organizations and
Yeah,
connecting that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, anytime people are
Mm.
together trying to collaborate and make decisions and share resources, there's inevitably misunderstandings and conflict. And so this is an excellent tool. Yeah.
There's no way around it. Like sometimes at the grocery store, there is disagreements.
Yeah.
Being human, we can step on each other's
Yeah.
toes. You know
I
what I
live in
mean?
community. I'm familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been so enjoyable. I
Mm.
really do feel there's even more to keep exploring, but I
There's
know
so
we're
much
at
more.
the end of. Yeah. uh, I really, really have enjoyed this and really appreciate your truly living this work. You are walking the talk,
Mhm.
and you really have followed and you continue to follow your North Star. Really appreciate who you are and how you live in the world.
Mhm.
And I'll put all your, you know, the website and everything in the show notes. And I'm wondering, anything else before we end you want the listeners to know?
Oh,
Or
I
anything?
just have immense gratitude for this opportunity to have this enlivening conversation with you and to share this way of being and relating with more people. I really would love to get this practice into all the corners of our world. You know, if we all could walk
Mm.
the world with self compassion and curiosity for each other, I think we would have a much more sustainable, compassionate places to live and work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Creating a more compassionate world.
Mhm.
Well, I deeply thank you. I also want to thank all the listeners. And I really invite all the listeners, if you can please help us spread more compassion in the world. If you found this useful, send this to a friend, a neighbor, a partner, a family member, whoever it is, coworker. Send this podcast, send the link, help us spread self compassion, awareness, and love. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because this helps me continue offering you content such as today. Thank you, everyone, for listening. May your moments be filled with ease, and may you be present in as many of them. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this content, check out what's coming up next right over here. Thank you.